Hello and welcome to the Greenlambkin podcast. This is episode 2 and my name is Suzanne, otherwise known as Greenlambkin on Instagram, Greenlambkin on Ravelry, Greenlambkin Yarn on Facebook, and I think that's everywhere. We have a group on Ravelry called the Greenlambkin podcast group. Last time I spoke to you, which was just over 2 weeks ago, I promised that I would be setting that up and doing a really good job of putting all the links in there and everything. And I have failed woefully on that, but I'm blaming Christmas because I've been exceptionally busy and full of cold as well. We had 13 here on Christmas Day and I was busy catering for them and preparing everything and just generally getting everything ready for Christmas, wrapping, making sure the house was clean and tidy, all the usual stuff, and everything just got a little bit pushed to one side that didn't have anything to do with Christmas. So my apologies for that, but over the next few days now it's a bit quieter. I'm hoping that I will have the time to really sort that out. Excuse me, I'm going to have a bit of a frog in my throat for most of this podcast. I think I'm going to keep on lubricating, but although most of it's gone, I've got those horrible remnants in my sinuses and just in my throat, so apologies in advance if I'm a bit sniffly. In fact, have I got a tissue? Yes. I've put that there ready as well, excuse me. Right then, on with the show. First of all, some works in progress. Now, I haven't got a lot to show you this week. I know last time I spoke to you, I was telling you that once all the Christmas knitting was done, I was planning on picking up and running with my siphon blazon scarf, which is about 2/3 of the way done, and I haven't actually picked that up yet. But what I have been doing is working on my lovely Christmas Eve socks and my Cozy Memories blanket, which I've had a long hiatus on, and I was really excited to get back to, so that's what I've been focusing on. So let me show you my Christmas Eve socks first. These were cast on as part of Danny from Little Bobbin's Christmas Eve cast on. Now they're living in a little Christmas bag that I made last year. I made one for my mum, one for both my sisters and one for me. And the yarn that I am using is the West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. So this is the colour Cherry Drop. And then this is the colour Hollyberry. Oh, love it. Very pretty. And I made a heck of a lot of progress on these socks. Look at that. So I cast on the rib and got to about here by Christmas Eve. And then I did the heel flap and gusset yesterday and started my decreases, and then I've been doing a bit more decreasing again today, and I've been using one of my little progress keepers which I made recently, which is a little lampwork glass toadstool, and the needles that I'm working on are Chow red laces, and I think they're a 2.25mm needle and it really flies on them. I love the sharp points. I have to be a bit careful with them because I sometimes hurt myself. Excuse the husband in the background. He's come to get himself a drink before he starts the ironing. So yes, that's the thing I've been mainly focusing on. The arm socks, which are the Regia Flormania. They have had a little bit of attention, not very much, but I have started putting some increases into the back leg. So this is the toe part, and if you remember me saying, if you saw the last podcast, there's this sort of ribbed section in the back, and you actually start to increase in these pearl ridges here and here. Now the pattern I think calls for something like 6 sets of increases, and the socks come almost the leg warmers in the pattern they're called, but I'm treating these more as a sock. a yoga sock, and they come almost up to your knees, and I'm really not bothered about having them that long. I'm a bit of a hot-bodied person, really, and I don't want to have them right up to my knees when I'm doing a yoga class. So I'll probably make the leg perhaps about as long as it is from this heel opening here again, and then pop a shortish rib on, and that'll be those done. So this is the first one, so I've got quite a fair way to go on that yet. These have been knit on Knit Pro Nova needles, which again I love. They're not as sharp as the Chow Goose, but they are still quite pointy, very slippy, and I really like the joints on these. Again, they really just slip smoothly, so I'm enjoying that as well. But the last time I worked on that was the 23rd of December, and since then I've just been focusing on my lovely Christmas Eve socks. And then finally, as I say, I've been giving my Cozy Memories blanket a lot of attention. So what I tend to do is, it's a rectangle, a very large rectangle. I've got the most ridiculous, oversized and noisy progress keeper you could ever imagine on my Cozy Memories blanket. Can you see it? When I received, last time I spoke to you, I told you that I'd done one of those granting the yarn wishes thingy, and I'd had one granted in return, and the lovely lady from France had sent me a load of minis, and in it, which is a gorgeous idea, she'd put into the envelope a load of these lovely multicoloured jingle bells so that it sounded magical when I opened it. And they were so gorgeous, and I just wanted to make something immediately with it. So I basically used some tiger tail beading wire, made a big loop and threaded them all on, and then I put a couple of these lovely sparkly crystally beads on, and one of the lobster claw clasps on the end, and made a really big stitch progress keeper just especially for my blanket, so that I can see it every time I get this out, and I can sort of hear which is the corner that I'm working towards. So this is my top left corner of the blanket, and as I was saying, it's rectangular, and what I tend to do, so this is the top edge, so what I tend to do is start from this top corner and work my 14 squares across, and then when I've done that, I start at the bottom right corner and I work up the long edge and put a column of squares on that. So since I last spoke to you, I think when I last spoke to you, that's the cat shouting her head off. I think I was probably somewhere, I think I was actually working on this square, because I was saying it was West Yorkshire Spinners, and it wasn't, it was Opal. So since then I've put these three on. I think these two are hand dyed, that one and that one. And then this one's a commercial one. And then after that, I went right down to this corner and I put lovely Christmassy one. 1, 2, forgive me, I can't remember what all of these are. 3, 4th, 5th, and these are all a mixture of squares from mini skeins from my advent calendar from my friend Paula, and also the lady who did the granting your yarn wishes. So then that one, that one, and that one. And then this is the one I'm currently working on, which is another hand-dyed one, which is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what this base is, but it's a little bit thicker than the base that I'm using. Very squishy. So that was, I lost count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 up the side, and I'm on the 10th. So it's coming on. And I also said I was going to take a progress shot of this and put it into the Ravelry group, and I didn't do that either, which is very naughty of me. But again, I will do that over the next couple of days and put it in there. And there's a reason why that didn't happen, which I will explain. I will give you my excuses, but you can see how big. It's bigger than my head. So it's getting quite sizable and extremely cosy. It's lovely to work on at the moment because finally we've... Cat again, not a crying baby. Everybody thinks she's a baby and she's not. We've had a really cold snap in Britain, which is, well, in our bit of Britain, in Derbyshire, which is fantastic. I absolutely love it when we get a really cold blast. I've just had to pop out to the car to fetch my Christmas Eve sock in because I left it there earlier by accident. We went for an afternoon walk in Chatsworth Park. I don't know if you know. You may have heard of Chatsworth. It's a very famous stately home in Derbyshire, owned by the Duke and Duchess of Devonshire, and it's a 20-minute drive away from our house. It's sort of like our stomping ground. We love it up there, and it's just about a mile to walk from the bottom car park up to the courtyard and the house, and have a cuppa and a bit of a mooch around the shop, and then back in time before it gets dark. So we've blasted a few cobwebs, and it was... As I was saying, I left my knitting in the car on the way back from there, and I've just popped out to get it just before 8 o'clock this evening, and there's a really hard frost out there, which I absolutely love. I'm always really hot-blooded, and so when it's warm and mild in winter, I get really cross because I just want to feel cosy and feel the benefit of my hand knits, and if it's a mild winter, I'm forever putting them on, taking them off, putting them on, taking them off again because I've got too hot. So I've been using all my lovely hand knits with gay abandon for the last few days, which is fantastic. So, what next? Finished objects. There's only one, but at least there is one. I finished my second set of squirrel mitts. So... I think last time I spoke to you, I think I was only a little bit of the way up the first one of these, and they knitted up really quickly. And they're really comfy and cosy and soft, because I've since discovered that the not so mystery fibre in the yarn is silk, which makes them warm but cool to the touch and so soft and lovely. Which leads me on to why I didn't get the colourway that I was aiming for with these, because I believe that when you've got silk content in your yarn, it resists the dye a lot more, which is why I was going for a much deeper, richer colour than this. But this was the effect I got, and I can actually show you what it was that I was aiming for. Because I've since dyed it up on a different yarn base and got exactly what I was looking for the first time. So that's why. But I still really love this colour, and my sister said you should dye this up again and call it Parma Violets, which are a sweetie in Britain, which are a lilac colour. And I would like to. I'm just not sure if I can achieve it again. It's one of those one-of-a-kind sort of things. But they've already started to pill a little bit because I've been wearing them so much. But they are really cosy and soft. Now I just need to type up this pattern. I've got it fully written. I just need to type it up, and then my sisters are both going to test knit it for me. So hopefully, I'm still aiming for sort of the middle to the end of January to release that pattern. And the first pair that I knitted, I don't know if you remember me saying, I'd actually done them with my mum in mind, and I'd knitted her a pair in the orangey yarn for Christmas, and she absolutely loves them. She's been wearing them loads already, and she only got them on Boxing Day, so she's obviously really enjoying that. So that's my finished object. And I think that's everything I've got to say about those, really. So, on to acquisitions. Now, for Christmas, I often get quite a lot of knitting, fibre related stuff, and this year I haven't really. Mainly because I asked for other things, so I'm not hard done to. But I needed some new clothes, so Johnny got me got me this lovely black corduroy pinafore, which I've been wanting one of for ages, and a nice top. My mum and dad bought me a pair of cherry red Doc Martin boots, which I've been wanting for ages, and various other bits of clothing and things like that. So I haven't had a ton of yarn or anything like that this time round. But for the 25th, Paula and I, when we did our Advent swap, we both put a full skein of yarn in. Now she, as it's now gone, I can tell you that she got a skein of the vintage shiny sock yarn, which is one of my hand-dyed colours, which she was really happy with. And I got a complete surprise. I wasn't expecting this at all, and I absolutely love it. And it's Rose's Moments yarn, which is a British hand dyer. Oh, look at the sparkle in it. Look at the colours. Orange and purple are two of my favourite colours, especially when they're combined together. And another thing which is a bit of an obsession for me is Halloween and pumpkins. And this colourway, I absolutely love the name. It's 4-ply fingering weight, 400 metres, and it's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and it's called Purple Pumpkin Eater. And I know that Paula will have seen it and just said, oh yeah, that's Suzanne all over. So I have not got a clue what I'm going to be making with this, and I think I'm going to have to think really long and hard before I commit myself to anything. Came with this little sachet of lavender on it, which is gorgeous. I keep sniffling it. It's lovely. It's so soft and lovely. And as I say, I'm going to have to think very hard about what I'm going to make. I just don't feel I want to make socks from it, but I don't quite know what I do want to make yet. So that was my yarny Christmas acquisition, and I'm chuffed to bits with it. And then my little knitting group, which meets on Wednesday evenings in our local pub, we have a little bit of what we in Derbyshire call a fuddle, which is a bit like a potluck kind of get together, I suppose you would call it, where we all bring a bit of food, lots of Prosecco in this case, and wine, and we all get together and have a nice Christmas party at one of our houses. My sister hosted it, and one of the things that we do is a bit of a secret Santa, and I was spoilt rotten by my secret Santa swap person. Well, we didn't swap, but you know what, the person who was gifting to me, the gifter, and she had hand knitted me the most gorgeous cowl, and I would have worn it, but I know I would have been too hot. But I will model it for you now, and it's a chunky yarn. And it's, if I show it you up close first, I believe, do you know, I'm not sure. I keep looking at it and thinking it's a Rowan yarn, and then I'm not sure. Let me show it you up close. Gorgeous moss stitch, and it's grey and raspberry pink, and it's actually showing up a lot pinker on screen than it is in real life, and then a lovely lilac-y mauve. And my clever secret Santa had done it on purpose because she'd seen me knitting these, and she wanted to make me something, because I knew who it was because I'd organised the secret Santa, so I had to tell her, I am your secret Santa person. So that was a bit naughty, but couldn't be helped. But she had knitted them, she told me, knitted this so that it would coordinate beautifully with my lovely mittens, and I have been wearing this constantly, and it just goes round nicely twice. Oh, I love how chunky and squishy it is, and it doesn't, because I can't stand being all bundled up too much around my neck unless I'm freezing cold, which I hardly ever am. I just don't want anything that close to my neck, so this is perfect for me, and it just goes round twice. And then I can sort of tuck it in and zip my coat up onto it if I want it to be a bit cosy. I guess it would go, I'm not sure it would go around 3 times, but as I say, I wouldn't want it to. There is another yarny acquisition on the way. My mum-in-law promised to get me a Nitpicks ball winder for Christmas, because my ball winder, it's an old brother one that came with a knitting machine that was given to me years ago second hand. And it works, it winds cakes of yarn, but it often gets tangled up around the cogs underneath. And when I take it off, take the cake off of the cone, sort of sounds awful. So it's like the cake has a prolapse, sort of bits of yarn come out from the middle of it as I'm pulling it off, and no matter how tightly I try and get my fingers underneath it so that it stays in, it's never 100% neat. And I don't know if this is just the perfectionist in me, but say I'd dyed a skein for somebody and I asked them if they wanted it to be caked up ready, which I do sometimes. I would want it to be a really nice, neat, tidy cake, and I hate it when they look all straggly and looking nasty. And sorry, that's my little girl coming downstairs and being told off by Daddy for messing about. So anyway, as I was saying, she's going to be buying me a Nitpicks ball winder for Christmas, and I'm hoping that this will... I've been told they're good, and they seem to have good reviews, so I'm hoping that it will work out quite well for me. But unfortunately, when I went to order one for her, they're out of stock. So I will be getting one as soon as I get an email telling me that they're back in stock again. So fingers crossed it won't be too long, because I really want to have a nice ball winder which doesn't mangle my yarn up. So that's that. And then these aren't strictly yarny acquisitions, but they are helping me greatly with the podcast. So last time I podcasted, you were sitting on a massive pile of cookery books and sort of precariously balanced with a little ceramic tile in front of you to make sure that the phone didn't slip down. And this time you are sitting in my beautiful new tripod, which was bought for me by the children, courtesy of Daddy, for Christmas. And it's one that's just got these sort of poseable legs. It looks a little bit like a weird three-legged robot, and then a sort of a universal contraption at the top, which means it can hold all sorts of different devices. But my iPhone, it fits perfectly in there, and it sort of slides up and down and then clips onto it so that it's nice and held nice and solidly. So that's one. And the other thing that's new is I was filming on a really naff old, well, not naff, but a very old iPhone last time, and I'm hoping that the video quality is going to be better this time, because my contract was up and I was due for an upgrade of a phone, which I sorted out over Christmas, and it actually only came this morning. So I am filming from my brand new 64 gig of storage iPhone with a much better camera and hopefully better sound quality. So fingers crossed, this is going to be really smooth and nice compared to last time. It certainly made it a lot quicker and easier to set up. I just went clip, plonk, to adjusted the legs a little bit, and we were running, up and running, and it took me and my husband Johnny about half an hour to get it all sorted out properly. And obviously when you do it the first time, it takes a bit longer to get ready, but this was so quick and simple by comparison, and it's about streamlining, isn't it? So that's that. So really, I think I'm on to shop talk, what's in my shop. But before I do, I just want to say a massive, great big thank you, because number one, I've had far more views of this podcast than I was expecting. I think when I looked earlier on today, I was on 166 views, and I wasn't expecting to get more than 15 or 20 at most. So I've been really blown away, and thank you for everybody who's liked it. I mean, I'm not in it for getting lots and lots of likes and things. That's not what I'm aiming for. But it does tell me that at least you're enjoying it and you want to see what I'm up to, and that you're liking what I'm saying and doing. So thank you so much for coming and watching, and thank you for clicking the like button, because it's made me feel really fantastic about it, you know, and I want to carry on doing it because I enjoyed it and because some of you obviously enjoyed it too. And the second thank you is to everybody who's been in the shop in the last couple of weeks and bought yarn. I mean, I'm really new to this. I'm really loving it, and I really want to make this my main, you know, source of income eventually. But at the moment, especially considering how new I am, you know, over the last few weeks I've had so much new interest, so many new likes on Etsy, and so many orders coming through, and so many from the States as well. And I was just really blown away by how many parcels I sent over to the US. So a massive, massive thank you for that, because I'm loving doing this so much. I'm loving thinking about all these colourways and making them happen. And, you know, when I get lovely reviews and people telling me how much they're enjoying it, it's such an affirming, happy thing. So, so yeah, massive thank yous to everybody who's, you know, taken the time out to come and look in the shop and who's bought yarn from me, because it's just fantastic. Okay, now I've done a bit of gushing. I've not done much dyeing with it, having been Christmas. But just before Christmas, I developed a new colour, and I've also got one to show you, which I didn't show last time, but I listed in the shop the other day, and several people seem to have taken a shine to, so let me show you them. The first one, which, as I say, I dyed a while ago, but I will be doing more of, is called Salamander. Let's see if I can get this all in the shot for you. Try it like that, that's a bit better. There we go. So this is on the merino nylon sock base, so it's 25 nylon, 75 merino. And the colours are black, and then lemon, and autumn gold, which is a really warm golden, slightly orangey colour. This here is ruby red and magenta. This is the autumn gold kind of colour, very similar to the colour of my walls. So that's the salamander colourway, and salamanders are, if you believe in fairies, they are the elemental fairies of fire. So you can see why I called it that. You've got ashes and soot and flames and warmth. So that's that one. And then in the same base is, this is actually the colour that I was trying to achieve with the yarn that I knitted my mittens in. Which just gives you, because I use the same colours, probably slightly different quantities, but it just gives you an idea of how different the bases are. Just look at that. So much more resistance to taking the dye with the silk in there. But anyway, this is called Cosmic Wonder, and it's on the same base as the Salamander, and it's blues and purples and raspberries and blacks. And the idea is that it's, I mean, there are some bits, oh look, I've gone and untangled it now. There are some splashes, some pops of white in there as well for the stars. And this is actually, this name was inspired by my mum-in-law, because our little boy is called Cosmo. We didn't tell anybody that we were calling him Cosmo because we thought we might get some fairly negative feedback. That happened when we were choosing our daughter's name, and everybody wanted to tell us what to do. So we decided to keep it a secret. And when he was born and we told everybody what his name was, my mum-in-law started calling him Cosmic Wonder, which has always stuck with me, and I've always thought was an absolutely lovely thing to say. And so I wanted to dye something sort of inspired by space and the stars. I love those colours, you know, that you imagine when you see nebula and constellations and all that kind of stuff. And so I actually dyed her a skein of this for Christmas, and this is done with the immersion dyeing technique. And then this is the same colourway on the Stellina base. Look at the sparkles. Tina sparkles. That's a reference to film called? I can tell you all the quotes, but I can't tell you what Muriel's Wedding. You're terrible, Muriel. Me and my sisters watched that quite a lot when we were younger. I'm not sure if you can tell. Yeah, this is Cosmic Wonder. It's the same colours, but again, differences in bases. I think this sparkle somehow seems to have a slightly more saturated colour to it. I've got a little bit more black in this one, but then I suppose that's what happens when you dye skeins of yarn by hand. When I'm immersion dyeing, I can do 2 in the pot at once, which obviously makes the process a lot quicker. So that's that. So they've gone into the shop, but I'm hoping to get a load more dyeing done in the next couple of days. I've got another colourway that I've got in the pipeline, so hopefully I'll have that to show you next week. Although I'm running low on yarn, so I'm going to have to get some more dyed ordered soon, otherwise I'm going to be stuck. Oh, we did do one little bit of dyeing today because my daughter, she's 7, and she's been wanting to do some dyeing. She's already decided that she's going to work for Greenlambkin yarn when she's grown up, so I sort of got to make it work so that she's got a job in the future now, haven't I? So that's lovely though that she wants to do this with me, and she wanted to dye some yarn. I've been saying, oh yes, soon, yes, we'll do it during the Christmas holidays, and every day it's been, Mummy, can we dye some yarn today? So she knew exactly what she wanted to do. She's got a very creative and vivid imagination, and maybe going back a couple of years ago now, she invented this sort of alter ego character for herself called China Kitty, and she still plays it out on a regular basis. Pretends to be a poor little kitten that's come all the way from China, and she's got no mummy and no daddy, and can she come and live with us and all this. It's really cute. And she knows exactly what colours this kitten is, and it's a very unusual kitten. She says it's like a chameleon, but the colours that it really is underneath all the different colour changes are like purple, turquoise, pink and black, because you see a lot of kittens that kind of colour. But that's the colours of China Kitty, and she wanted to dye some China Kitty yarn. So I've got some more of that sparkle DK. Now she's learning to knit and she's doing all right, but I thought possibly fingering weight might not be great for her yet. So I said, do you want to use the DK? And this is interesting because I put the skein of the DK with the silk in it and a skein of the BFL sock base into the same pot. So these have had exactly the same quantity of dye applied to them. And look at the difference in the saturation of the colour. Hardly, I mean, it has taken some of the turquoise that you can see there, but by comparison to this, which was even underneath it, just goes to show how much of a resistance there is. This is still damp, but this is China Kitty, and I'm a little bit disappointed in how I would have put this in the shop, but it's so close to Cosmic Wonder. So I'll probably, I don't know, I might list this, but I'll probably keep this for myself and knit some socks from it or something, because she'll like that if we can have some, or I might knit her some socks from it actually, because she'd love some China Kitty socks. There's nowhere near as much black and purple in it as the Cosmic Wonder, but I think they're too close in colour for me to really justify listing them in the shop. I mean, yes, you can see it's a lot lighter in places here, and then hers, and I explained to her about how the differences in colour, and she was quite happy with it. She's more than happy. She wants to knit herself an infinity scarf out of this one day, but there's hers, and I do love the mutedness of the colours in this. Really pretty and delicate. So that's the only bit of dyeing I've really done. Apart from that, there's not really been that much afoot. No really exciting adventures as such to tell you about. As I say, we've been mainly focused on, we had all of my husband's family for Christmas. So my parents-in-law, my brother-in-law, 2 aunties and uncles and 4 cousins, as well as us 4. So that kept us busy and happy. We had an absolutely lovely Christmas. The kids had a fantastic time, loved all the presents, loved all the attention. On Boxing Day, we went to my mum and dad's and spent it with my sisters and brothers-in-law and nephews, and had another lovely day. And since then, we've just been laying low, as I say, trying to get out and have a bit of exercise and trying to slow the pace down. But I've had thinking time. I'm thinking about new colours for the new year. And the other thing I've been thinking about, and I'd like to ask you about this. I'm glad I've gone down this route, actually, because I would have forgotten otherwise. I've been thinking about how much I enjoyed my advent calendar with my friend Paula. And I've been watching Inside Number 24's Vlogmas and absolutely loving every minute of that. And she's had a hand-dyed advent calendar for Christmas, and obviously there's the opal advent calendar with the little mini balls that come out of it. And I'm wondering about whether I should try dyeing an advent calendar for next year. And there's lots of things to think about. You know, how big should the skeins be? Would you want a bigger one for Christmas Day or Christmas Eve? Would you want some of them to be like some of the colours that I've already dyed, or would they all need to be original colours? There's a lot to think about, but I'd really quite fancy trying, and maybe I'll just make like 10 sets or something and see, see if people are interested in it. But if you want to let me know either on YouTube or on Instagram, you can inbox me, or on Facebook, or I could, discuss it in the Ravelry group. I'd really like to know what people think about that, and whether I ought to give that a go. So yeah, I'll leave that with you as food for thought, and hopefully I will be back. What day are we on now? Wednesday. With a bit of luck, I'm going to have a go at podcasting on Monday again. Might not have much to show you, but I'm going to drop in, say hello, hopefully. The kids will still be off school, so I'll probably not get to do it during the day unless I lock them in the understairs cupboard, which probably wouldn't look very good. And I'd probably have to gag them to muffle the sound as well, so no, we won't try that. I'll leave it for the evening. And on that note, I'll leave you with that sinister thought, and I'll say ta-ra for now, and hopefully I'll see you next Monday, and I promise that the show notes will be done by then. Okay, take care, my lovelies. Bye!